Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hasi and today's topic is exam for study guide with BOT plan morphology. Okay, so we have three major chapters here to cover, and they are chapter 8, plant genetics, chapter 27, plant hormones, and chapter 29, plant nutrition and soils. So always remember, it's best to start with the vocabulary, the lower part of the Bloom's anatomy. So especially in chapter 8, plant genetics, it's if you need to make sure that actually you know the vocabulary of the genetics, like including what is an allele, and what is crossing over, diploid, haploid, egg, fertilization, gamete, genetic recombination, genetics, genotype, phenotype, heredity, heterozygous, homozygous, and hybrid. So we have Mendelian genetics starts with monohybrid, which is the one single gene problems, and then dihybrid, two gene problems, and then now today we have QTLs or quantitative traits that they have actually involved more than two genes. Okay, so if there are more than one alleles, they could be dominant or recessive. Dominant could be completely dominant, like in eye colors we see, maybe brown eye color, or versus a recessive, like a blue eye color. In a situation like incomplete dominance, like in snapdragons, or co-dominance, like we see in AB blood types. Punnett square also important. Actually, when you are calculating the F2 phenotypes, F2 distribution, and then actually you can use a Punnett square to show the results of these genetic crosses. Heterozygous is again two different alleles, and homozygous is the same alleles. Genotype is the genetic makeup of the organism. Phenotype is the physical appearance, and phenotype equals genotype time environment, which is also environment includes nutrition, diet, temperature, and other environmental factors, which are not genetic necessarily. And with genetics uses probability and to calculate actually the likelihood of the possible future events will occur in any given instance of event. You can just ask the question, what is the probability of having a plant with white flowers, and calculate that. Okay. So this is chapter 8. Chapter 27 is about plant hormones, which is basically there are 6 major hormones. These are small compounds that they actually they involve in mostly in gene expression and a lot of physiology. They are auxin, cytokinase, ethylene, abscisic acid, gibberellins. We have also smaller and more newly discovered ones, including jasmonic acid and salicylic acid. So we start with the auxins, which is basically the first discovered plant hormone. It's actually synthesized in the shoot apical meristem and moves down to the roots. Basically, it can cause apical dominance, which is while moving down, they can actually block the growth of the side growth of the apical tissue. The side tissue, and this is called apical dominance. Cytokinase can actually break this. They move opposite direction, and they can actually remove apical dominance. Ethylene is the only one which is the only gaseous hormone which basically can be used in fruit ripening. And ABA basically is the only one which can cause actually seeds go dormant, and they can actually they can cause dormancy, and then this can be breaking down with using gibberellins. So these are plant hormones, chapter 27. Chapter 29 is about plant nutrition and soils. So we have these 17 major mineral nutrients. We can divide them in two groups, macronutrients and trace elements. Macronutrients include nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. The trace elements include iron, zinc, boron, manganese, chlorine, iodine, etc. Three big ones come forward actually: NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Nitrogen, we know, is the number one nutrient for plants. Basically, it's involving healthy foliage, chlorophyll production, vegetative growth. Phosphorus involving flowering, DNA, RNA synthesis. Potassium involving synthesis of proteins and carbohydrates. There is a fungi called mycorrhizae that can actually help the plants actually get more phosphorus. And there is a bacteria called rhizobium, which can basically help a certain family of plants, namely leguminous family, like peas, beans, and soybeans. They can get more nitrogen from this bacteria. The symptoms can be actually found, as you see here on this diagram, from their deficiencies, and then we can actually detect from the signs of nutrient deficiency what nutrients is missing in a plant. This can be dependent on the location, like iron at the top, nitrogen at the bottom, or specific colors and coloration of this deficiency. So this is it for the study guide 4, and thank you for watching, and take care. See you next time.